Hey guys, Mitko here from the End Models, and today we're doing a review that I'm postponing for weeks already. This is of the Su-57, the fifth generation Russian jet fighter, allegedly fifth generation. Zvezda kit, 48 scale, and I'm postponing it because of the war, as you might have guessed. So finally, I decided that since there is no way around that kit, if you want to build it in 48 scale, there is no substitute. So those who are eventually interested in building the Su-57 Felon, well, you have to buy Zvezda. No other option. So let's dig into it and see how it looks from the inside, and then we'll talk more. I'm going to start with the instruction sheet, which, as you can see, looks okay, but in fact is rather mediocre. It consists of a total of two A3 size pages, which are folded into A4 format, and that's it. You can see the sprues and the building sequence, which has nothing complex embedded into it. And the reasons here are, well, mostly because the shape of the plane is basic from the outside. That's the idea of the stealth design. But Zvezda didn't put much effort into breaking it down into different sub-assemblies too. So there is not much that you can expect in terms of complexity. However, at the end, there are options with a ladder and a stand, which are nice add-ons, especially considering the Felon will look better in flight compared to sitting on the ground with this chunky landing gear. Then, this is for the technical stencils, which are plenty, close to a Phantom if you ask me, and we're gonna take a look at Decals next to see what you can expect there. We have two sheets of Decals, and this is the first one, and I'm starting with this because the last thing I showed was the technical stencils. So this is it, and Zvezda Decals are not bad, but are not very good either. It's something of a in-between. So you gotta be very careful applying all this over the plane. It might mess up the whole build. They look okay, but again, you gotta be very careful. This is the second sheet with the options of 509, 511, 01, red stars, blue stars, which eventually is the stealth insignia, and more technical stencils. It says VKS Russie, which means Air Space Forces, which is a bit of a reach from Russians end, but yeah, you know how they are. So it is not bad. The bad thing I found about the decal sheets is that they are left unprotected. They are in a plastic envelope, which looks like this, and this is the only thing that keeps them from damaging. There is no filtered paper, nothing. They are put back to back and put inside this envelope. But again, this is Zvezda, this is not an A player in the modeling world, so there is nothing much more that you can expect from them. So, next to the plastic. I choose to start with this because it outlines the size of the plane, and as you can see on the floor mat down below, there are inches, so it's pretty big. It's a acceptable texture, although far from contemporary. This is an okay kit for the 80s. Again, not a big fan of Zvezda here, and I can tell you that this is what you can get from there. If you expected to see something miraculously wonderful as a tooling, well, pick another company. There is a lot that you can improve here, but only if you're interested into. The panel lines are wide, which is very ugly. The video doesn't justify that, but again, this is the only option for the plane and 48 scale, so you gotta live with that. The bottom is pretty much the same. A bit more interesting in terms of assembly here. As you can see, a lot of empty spaces. However, same surface details, a lot of work ahead if you want to make this look nice, and mostly because of the lack of any information regarding that new plane. You have to work with paints, paint modulation, weathering, and stuff like that to make it really, really good. Because if you count only on the kit and its tooling, you're doomed. In general, this is how it looks packed. And I did unpack the other two just because I was too curious before the review. And what I wanted to show you is that this is a mini art kind of packing that eventually can damage the parts. However, this kit is with pretty chunky parts and they are rather rough and sturdy, so there is no worries here in particular with the packing. I was hoping to show you something interesting, but as you can see, there is nothing much to show in this kit. It was supposedly 2020 tooling. It looks simplistic with minor exceptions. Let's say here this is acceptable, but overall it's nothing special. The theme of it makes it special, but the execution of it's mediocre. Of course, with that said, every pro modeler will be able to improve this and make it really, really nice with a lot of effort. And as you can see, there are elements that are okay. Control surfaces are fine. Ladder here is okay. Landing gear section. And have in mind that even on the best SU planes out there, the landing gear section is always improved by the modelers. However, it's rather disappointing. Looking at this here, it seems like Zvezda, they have the potential to make finer things. So this looks nice, however, it's only fraction of the kit. In general, it is chunkier. And as you can see, that goes for the most of it. Here we have missiles, and they are not bad. However, we are 2022. You can work with that though. This here too is not bad. And the price overall is not very high. So it is something you can live with. Of this sprue, you get two. A pilot is included. This actually looks very nice, although I'm not the right guy to ask for figurines and kits, but I like it. And as I said, Zvezda has the potential to make better things, but they are not putting the effort in. The nozzles are something that I think they put some artistic work more here than the real thing, but as we all know, the Su-57 is expecting eventually a new engines, and the re-engined aircraft will look different. So maybe that was their goal, to hint something will be changed, because the nozzles of the real one doesn't look like those. However, The real ones that we see and are all around the web are mostly initial series prototypes. And again, Zvezda showing some potential here, but not here. As you can see, this could have been done better. Have in mind that there are plenty of Russian aftermarket companies that are working very closely with Zvezda eventually. So they released a ton of stuff for the Su-25 that Zvezda released this year. I don't know, is the war the reason or whatever, but hopefully they will work on the improvement on that kit too. So that may be the way out for Zvezda. The two links that I consider important in every kit are the paint options, of course, and the clear parts. And I consider the clear parts in any aircraft the most vital part of it. And this is how they came in this particular case. This envelope is far from able to protect the canopy, and as you can see, my canopy arrived detached. So it looks okay, but when you touch it, it has some rubbery kind of feel. So it is not perfect. It is far from perfect. And let's make a comparison here. If you compare it to Zuki Mura's canopies or Tamiya's canopies, this is way, 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 way beyond worse. However, if you don't, and you shouldn't because there is no other option of the Su-57, this is acceptable. It is actually nice. However, the plastic here is not so glue friendly, so you gotta be careful. Some mishaps might happen, and my suggestion is to test first. Luckily, Zvezda kits are cheap, and you can get something small or cheap to work your way up, understanding the engineering behind Zvezda and how their kits work. But with that said, yeah, you can guess that it wouldn't be my first choice if there were any substitutes for the Su-57. Lastly, I will show you the paint sheet. This is one of the sides. This is the other. Now, Zvezda missed the point here. The digital camouflage of the Su-57 goes on the both sides of the plane, up and down. And if you look closely and you dig throughout the web, because I doubt that you have access to the Moscow Institute where the plane is flown, you will see that on the bottom there is camouflage. The other letdown with the camouflage schemes is that Su-57 comes in two options. Actually, it comes in three, but let's say two of them worth mentioning, and they deserve to be included in this kit. One is this, with the addition that the belly should have the digital camo as well. And the other one is the Splinter camouflage scheme, which is the one featured in the new Top Gun Maverick movie. And that will gain a lot of popularity after the movie is released on May 27th, 2022. However, Zvezda did not manage to pull this off. And I'm trying to be objective, although I'm not a fan of Zvezda, and I would say that the kit is not bad, but I'll add that it is not good either. So just take a look here. Only Zvezda and Tamiya stated as the colors. There are plenty of companies, and I mean plenty, and you gotta work with the others. You gotta give more options for the colors. You gotta give more options for the camouflage. most importantly, when you have them, and even more important, when the other one is absolutely stunning and was the first one to see the light of day. But in general, this is a nice kit, and the only thing bad about it is that there is no substitute. If there were, like Kitty Hawk, I believe, promised a substitute for that, it would have been different. And there are plenty of Zvezda kits like that. We discussed MI-24 not so long ago, and there the game has changed. Now Zvezda has a competition in the face of Trumpeter with their new MI-24. But with the Su-25 and the Su-57 here that they released, there is no competition in 48 scale, actually, because the Su-25, the only competition is very old KP tooling, and this is unique, even though not a good execution. For a conclusion here, I have to add that they did an acceptable job. The price is right. The quality is medium. It is not low per se, but it is far from high. There are letdowns, plenty of them, but there is basis for improvement, and a pro modeler will be able to make this kit shine, because this is still better than Airfix kits from the distant past, and we keep seeing people making miracles with them. So yeah, this is not a bad kit. One more thing to add. I wouldn't suggest you to buy this, considering the events in the war the Russians did in Ukraine. But if you're devoted Su-57 lover and eventually a Top Gun fan, this is one thing you have to add to your collection. So, not bad, not bad. I won't go deeper into this because I know it will stir the water, but if you want it, again, there is no way around it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.